Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, certified emotion code, body code, quantum healing practitioner, group, certified group energy facilitator, and genius biofeedback practitioner. And I am so happy to be here each and every week with each of you, teaching you how to use the Genius app and some of its supported hardware and accessories. And today we are going to hopefully have a volunteer with someone who has not been a volunteer with us before. And also I did get a request to work with dynamic mirroring a little bit. So I will, work with that as well. And before we get started, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Claire McIntyre, who's here and will help on the chat. So if you have any questions and I am not answering your question because I don't see it, or Claire just gets to it ahead of me, you can see the answers in the chat. So in the meantime, I am let me just wait. Linda, could you please help me to get phone from gallery or camera onto a new client session? Not Claire, maybe you could help answer that. I'm not sure that that has to do with this right now. So give me a second. Let me start sharing my screen.
I think it's photo.
Okay. And okay. So is there anybody that is new here and has not been a volunteer yet on the Thursday Live that would like to be a volunteer? So if you just want to either put your hand up, raise your hand, or give me a shout out, unmic yourself, or put it in the chat. Just, you will be on camera and posted on YouTube if you do want to be a volunteer. I will go through and take your private information privately and will not put that on the public post. But anyway, nobody interested in volunteering? I see some new names here. If anybody wants to, Sarah, have you ever been a volunteer? Would you like to be?
I have been,
Oh,
but I would like to be again.
You have been, that's right. I'm sorry. I get confused sometimes. Let me see if there's anybody else. Marita, would you like to be a volunteer today?
Sure.
All right. So actually, guys, I'm just going to go off camera. I mean, I'm gonna stop sharing while I enter this information in. And actually, I may not need to. Hold on just a second. Okay, hold on. Okay. So I have all the personal information in here for Marita. And now if you want to turn your camera on, if that's okay with you, and then you can go ahead and we'll take your voice analysis and take your picture. Are you there? Are you ready to do the voice part?
Sure, we can do that one.
Okay, I'm gonna call you. I'll count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin, and then leave your say your full name and repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U. You'll need to do that a couple of times until this 15-second counter gets to 0. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Marita, Jordan, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U.
Excellent. Okay, so if you notice down on the bottom there it says voice harmonics. I do suggest that you play that. That gives you an opportunity to hear how the genius has translated your spoken voice into a frequency, and it does have healing benefits for you, just like homeopathics likes cancels out like. So here we go. Okay, so now we can just press next. Okay, and Rita, are you okay? Your picture is going to show up here. Is that okay? Or do you want me to take this off for your picture?
That's okay, but for one other reason, my computer doesn't allow me to share my picture today. The video doesn't want to run. I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
why.
Then we'll just use, yes, the one from the other day. So here's the picture. I'm just going to hit begin. Okay, and I'm going to hit continue. Ideally, you would, you do want to use the most recent picture, but we work with what we have. So now the genius is asking us for an energetic affirmation. I have one that I usually like to use unless there's something specific that someone has given to me. Do you want me to use the one that I use?
Sure.
Okay, and that's all. Whoops. Energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure love. And so it is. Whoops. What happened there? And so it is. Okay, so now when I press OK here, what will happen is that the genius will translate this affirmation into a frequency similar like it did when you left your voice recording, and that frequency will be overlaid every time the frequencies are run throughout this session. We can now hit begin analysis. Okay, and so when the genius goes through that process to begin analysis, it works with the 3 main categories: mind, biofield, and body. And after the analysis is done, you will see the order in which the genius has prioritized on how to work on those 3 areas. Custom libraries, if you have any libraries or you've created any, will always appear at the bottom. That does not get entered into, it's always just going to be on the bottom. And if you are on trialing the genius and you don't see that banner, it's just because you don't have any libraries yet. But once you either import the library or create them, you will see that banner there. So first thing I wanted to go over with you is, well, we can just pull down this black little drop down here, and that just offers you some kind of cool graphics. The overview will show you the percentage of blue to green to yellow and red. Some might find this helpful, or may just be curious on what the breakout is like, and may even like to sort of track that session by session to see if your blues and red percentage are getting smaller. Other than that, it's kind of difficult to use, in my opinion, some of this information because the writing is so tiny, tiny. Anyway, you can break it down and just play with this and look at this. There's not much other information that you can do with that. So now, what do the colors and the numbers represent and mean on the Genius? The Genius uses a numerical value system, and it ranges from 0 to 777. And it breaks down that number range into 4 groups, and each group is color coded. The first group, starting at the low range, is from 0 to 200, and that is represented by the color blue. And items in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances that may also be referred to as stagnant energy, under energy, and these items would also be causing some type of crisis within your body or biofield. The next range, it goes from 201 to 450. That is represented by the color green. From there, we go to yellow, which is the range 451 to 600. And lastly, the highest range goes from 601 to 777, and that is represented by the color red. Red is observed to be acute energetic disturbances, and sometimes we could refer to that as heat or inflammation or over energy. But the items, these acute energetic disturbances, are out of balance right now in the present time. They are also, it's observed to be causing some kind of stress on your body or biofield in your field. So, what does the yellow and the green mean, and what would you consider balanced? For me, I like to keep a tight balance. So anything between 400 and 600 is how I like to work. So anything outside of that, I would work with. However, those just beginning, I would recommend that you just stay just with the reds and the blues until you get familiar and used to just working with the Genius. No need to introduce other things right away. So you will see me in this demonstration working with yellows and greens, but you don't have to do that when you're starting out. When I'm working with that zone of 400 to 600, that is pretty much all the yellows then are okay, because the yellow zone goes from 451 to 600, and it would include also part of the greens, the range of the greens that go from 400 to 450. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Then the next thing I wanted to show you was that these little arrow drop downs just to the left of each of the categories. That's there just to tell you that you can go a level deeper. So it's also another way to see the information. So you can either click on the line. So in this case, the brain anatomy, you can click on the line, and then you can see all the different areas of the brain, and it's color coded. Or you can hit the arrows and it will give you all the same information. It's just not color coded. So I think most 90% of the people would probably click on the line to get the information. You'll also see this little magnifying glass on the right-hand side. It's also in the drop down. It serves the same purpose. When you click on it, it will give you a brief, very, very brief explanation of what that item is. So under brain anatomy, it says energetic construction of brain balance. Okay, so before we go on to beginning any of the balances within this session, I want to take you to the biofield where you will find the aura, and this is how we get your aura picture. You will also notice that there's no arrow next to that. That's basically telling you it's not a library. There's no information. You can drag and drop the line of the aura into either the main whole tray or the quick zap if you'd like, but there isn't any information that you can add to any of the trays beneath this. But to click it, you do get your aura picture, and then you just have to click begin analysis. Okay, so here we can see your aura. I like to just click the hide the or avatar so that we can see everything that's beneath it. Briefly, what we're looking for in the aura is bright, vibrant colors. The brighter, the better, taking on more of a neon type color. Hopefully, it's clear. When you see that any blurriness or dirtiness to it, it's an indication of interference or stagnant energy or negative energy in there. Oftentimes too, you will see like a gray or blackish overlay, and that's negative energies that are coming through. So that would be important to clear, and that's a good indication that you'll need to work with the spiritual protection library quite a bit. You can also look at the old version of the aura, which I will click now. And when you see here, basically, again, you want to see bright, vibrant colors. One color would be best. It's okay if you're seeing more than one. You will see the 7 different colors of the chakra. That is the same for the other aura as well. But basically, I'd like all 4 corners to be filled with color. That is an indication that you are grounded and you are fully in your body. So we are seeing that here. And to understand all the other information that's going on in this picture, it is helpful to take the course because it could take you down a big rabbit hole right now. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Okay, so Sarah is asking, how did I get to that picture? So this first picture, you click on aura and you have to begin analysis. And once you're here, this is the aura that was given to us with the 2.0 update. But before that, it was the other aura, and you can get to the other picture by clicking switch to old. And this is the old version of the aura. But there is different information in this aura picture than in the newer version. So Ryan elected to keep both in so that we can use the different information that's coming through. Okay, so I want to tell you about the first 2 steps that I do in every single session that I do without exception. These are the first 2 steps that I do. Now, with that said, the genius, there isn't anything set in stone that anybody has to do. So you can work with the genius however you want. I am showing you what has worked best for me. And that is what I'm sharing with you, but it is not, it is not the only way to work with the genius. So for me, I like to start with preparing the body, similar to we want to have a good foundation. If we build a home, we can't just start by putting the windows in first. So I'd like to work and heal the biofield and also work with the minerals, amino acids, and vitamins. So to help strengthen the cells and give it all the essential nutrients that it needs. So if you're working on a trial and you do not have any panels yet, my recommendation to you is to add everything from this biofield and add it into your main hold tray. And you can also add in your minerals, amino acids, and vitamins. One nice way that you can work with that is to create a custom playlist while you're on trial. If you don't have any libraries yet, it will help you. I can show you how to do that really quickly right now. And to do that, you would go, well, hold on. These 3 lines are called your back office, or we call them the navigation lines. Or the hamburger, you can click on those and go down to where it says custom playlist, and then we can set one up. So you can go and hit add down here at the bottom, and we can name it, let's just say we're going to call this live demo. Okay, so we know what it is, and add items to playlist. So from here, we want to work with everything in the biofield. I just remember this is going to cause a little bit of an issue here. We're going to select everything separately. And the reason why is because if I were to select meridians, it's going to add the meridian and all the points, and it's going to make this way too big. So for now, we're just going to leave it out. But if you're not using custom playlists, I would drag and drop the meridian, the different meridians in. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And I don't know what just came up here. Oh, why did it do that? Oh, I clicked library. Whew. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. And Sarah, you can email me at Denise at Inside Health Apps. I can get you that information. And I don't know why I'm beach balling, guys, all of a sudden. This is not a good thing.
I've been trying to add all your libraries.
Yeah, I think that kind of jammed it. Shoot. Let's see what happens if I hit save. Okay. I think I have to close out. Okay, well, these things happen, so now I just have to figure out how to get out of here. It's not letting me do anything. Hold. I think I have to close out down here, guys. I have to force quit. Sorry. Okay.
It's a perfect time of when load current client results comes into effect.
No, sorry, everyone. Okay, so load current client results. That's where you go. I'm sharing the screen again. So in order to protect Marita's information, I didn't share it, but at the bottom left is where it says load current client results. if the system should crash and you need to get back into a session that you were in, that's where you go. So all the information here is still the same. I'm kind of going to abort the custom playlist right now because we can't add everything in. I will do that on another Thursday live so we can get into it, but do look at it and play with it. You can't make a mistake. I'm going to go to the custom libraries and pull up the bioterrain custom libraries. The bioterrain is where I have the priming vessel library, and it has all of the items from the biofield. It has your vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and then it does have some additional items that I have added to it. I'm also showing you this because if anybody watching this hasn't purchased the Genius and they're interested, this is, if you see the bioterrain package, these are the panels that are included in that. So you can get some sense of what it is through watching this. In the meantime, I am just going to click on the vessel priming frequencies. You see it kind of lifts up. And I'm just going to motion it downwards, and it then will put it into all the items into the main hold tray. Now I can click on this up arrow and you will see all the items in here. And that there is a timer here for it, but I'm going to close this because to work with the items in the main hold tray, you need to go to the Progressive Insights and hit play. And I realized that we got started and I didn't ask you what you wanted to work on today. So do you briefly want to just let me know what are some things that maybe you would like to work with today?
Very close to the same as yesterday, I think.
Remind me again.
Emotional, and I think with the brain, maybe.
Okay. So we can work on the brain as well. You got it. Okay. And overall, how are you feeling today? Like, what is your anxiety level on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being severe?
Oh, it's about 4, I'd say.
Okay. So it's still down significantly then. So that's
Yes,
great.
it is.
Awesome. Because yesterday, I think we were at a 9 when you started, right?
I think we were
Seven-
at about
It was a
8 or something. Yeah.
7.5 or something like that, 7 or so it's still down about almost 50%. So that's awesome. And so the brain, the issue there that the symptom, is it brain fog or what is
I think it's fatigue.
fatigue? Okay. And how fatigued are you today?
Oh, I'd say about 6, 7, something like that.
So a 6.5 out of 10?
Sure.
Okay, great. Okay. So getting back to now the step 1, which is still going to be the same no matter what the symptoms are that we're working with. I always like to select all first and to put the timer on 1 minute. And we will run all of these frequencies now for 1 minute. Okay, so we can see on the bottom that the average percent rectification is 23%. Anything between 20% and 40% is considered a good rectification. Anything above 40% is considered excellent. I also want to point out that the three numbers above where it says average percent rectification, where it says harmony, alignment, and energy flow, the average of those three is what gives us the average percent rectification. But I also like to look at the lowest percentage. In this case, it's 16%, and then what the highest is, which is 32. And I prefer that range to not be greater than 20. And the reason for that is I've observed it to be not as stable. The wider that range gets, the wider it gets, any energy that comes in can throw it all out of balance again. So if you did have a high percent rectification, let's just say even 55%, and there was a big range in here, you may want to run the frequencies again. I would rather see a 40% average percent rectification and have that range be 20 or less than to have a high rectification and have that range be higher. So just be mindful of that. I am going to run these frequencies again so we can try to get these numbers up. I'm going to deselect the all, and I'm just going to work with the lows and the highs now, and maybe we can get those percentages up a little bit. I am going to put the timer on 0 minutes. When you put it on 0 minutes, it allows you to kind of manually use the timer. So it will run until you physically stop it. You could do any increments of time up to 500 minutes, which is about 8 hours. So anyway, I'm just going to hit play. Sorry, guys. I ran that a little bit longer than I was anticipating. But it did get up to 32%, not quite as high as I would like. So I'm going to deselect the highs and try just running the lows for a few seconds. So now you can see that went up to a 50% rectification, and between 45 and 59% is within that 20%. So that makes me happy. I'm now going to deselect the lows and select just the highs and run those again for a few seconds. Okay, here it's 37%. That's not bad. I would love it to be a little bit higher, but this is a demo, so I'm happy with what we have right now. So now I'm going to back arrow until I get to the system overview page. And now I can clear out this tray. So I just opened up the main whole tray by clicking that arrow on the left-hand side next to like that plus. And then if you look at the top right corner, it says clear all. I'm just going to clear the items in the main whole tray. So now the second portion, the second step that I always do is I work with the general overview. The general overview is really amazing in my opinion. It gives you the opportunity to look at all items, everything from the system overview and all your library panels, all the line items, and the general overview puts it in numerical order. So you're seeing everything without having to go in and out of different panels, what all your top highs are and what all your bottom lows are. And when working in energy healing, this is really important because oftentimes these chronic blues are going to be your underlying causes. So it's a great way to work with some of the items that you may not have thought to work with when you're working on your issue. So the way you get there is you click on the system overview, and now it brings us to the general overview. And keep in mind, I have over 2,000 library panels with probably over 80,000 line items. So you're going to see a lot of reds and a lot of blues, and that's because there's only 777 numbers. So if you look at it like you're filing all the items, you have to file all 80,000 or more into each of those 1 through 777 slots. So just don't be overwhelmed by seeing that. I do like to look and start by switching the view. Instead of seeing all the highs, I like to see the lows on top. So you can do that by clicking this little 0 to 100 arrow at the top. And now these are all my blues. So these are all the items that have been out of balance for a longer period of time. So what I will do here is I'm going to go to the main whole tray where that little crosshair or plus button is down on the bottom left. And it gives me the opportunity to add the bottom 50. I couldn't just select add all the blues because again, there would be too many line items and it could like probably crash the Genius just like it did in the custom playlist. So we're not going to do that. You could add more than 50. It would just be tedious because you'd have to be counting all the way down. And I find just working with the top 50 is sufficient. Again, I'm going to work with the reds and the blues at the same time. You could separate it. I'm just going to look at them at the same time because we're a little short for time for the demo purposes. And I want you to see how I work with both of them. So I've added the top bottom blues. I'm also going to add the top 50 reds. And now I'm going to, at the top, you see it says remove libraries. I'm now going to remove the libraries. And now these are just the items from the system overview page. So one thing I just want to point out, we're seeing a lot of meridian points out of balance. So if you keep, there's a bunch in here. So it might be a good idea in your own time when you're working with your Genius to spend some time with your meridians and try to balance them out. You may want to go and work with each meridian separately so that there are smaller items and you can go through all the points. But for right now, I'm just going to add the blue items and the red items. That is filling up our tray just a bit, but we won't work with all of them for too long. So okay, so I am going to put the timer back on 1 minute. I'm going to select all. And actually, you know what? There are so many here. I'm just going to work with the lows first. And I'm going to work with the lows for 1 minute. So you have a 53% rectification here, and your low to your high is right within that 20%. So that's awesome. I'm going to deselect the lows right now and work with the highs in the same way for 1 minute. And I'm just working slightly differently here, only because there was like 400 items in the tray. So I will work with all of them, but just for a few seconds. But let's just work with the highs here. Okay, so this is on the lower side. I'm going to put this down to 30 seconds, and let's see if we can get these a little higher. Okay, so it just needed a few more seconds. Your average percent rectification is 67% there, and it's just slightly over that 20% range between energy flow and alignment, but it is a demo, so we're gonna not run it again. I am gonna select alls, and we're just gonna run all of them. Actually, I'm going to. Nope, I'm sorry. I'm talking to myself. Let's just run all of them for a few seconds here. Okay, that's at 21%. Again, I would have liked that to have been a little bit higher, but it's okay. We had a good rectification on your highs and the lows, so we're really just working with your mediums, and 20% is still a good rectification. So I am going to back out of here, and we can clear the main hold tray. Again, I do like to check in with my clients at this point before I start working specifically with their specific issues, just to see how you are doing. So how is your anxiety or your emotional level? You had it at a 4 or at a 10. Is it still there at that same level, or is it improved?
I think it's about a 6.
It's gone up.
Yep.
Okay. So maybe working with the frequencies, we'll need to put some grounding frequencies in there and see if that helps you. And fatigue.
I think very close to the same.
Okay, I would think so because you're working with a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do here is let's go to my custom libraries, and I want to work with some of the grounding frequencies. And I'm just going to add all of them into the main tray here. Okay, so I'm gonna select the highs and the lows and just run those for about 30 seconds. Okay, there was a very good rectification there. Did that help at all?
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes I find when there's a lot of frequencies, it can just like overstimulate you, and that's why you may be feeling that way. So I like to run the crystals, which give stability and grounding to help kind of just bring those down. So now we can go back. I'm just going to clear out this tray and we can go into work with some of the humming. So I'm just going to add all of these in here. I'm adding all of them just because we are a limited amount of time here today. And we can work with some of the different brain areas. So I'm going to put in the reds and the blues. And I'm going to go back to the Alaskan essences and add just some of these essences in for you. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. But I'm always of the belief that if you go into something and you didn't mean to, you went into it for a reason. So even though I didn't plan on working with those. Okay, so let's run these now and see if we can help with your Actually, I'm sorry. I also want to add some emotions in there. So I'm going to add in your reds and your blues. Okay, and so I'm going to put the timer on 1 minute and select all. Okay, that's at 39%, so that's still a good rectification. I did realize as this was playing that I forgot to go into the dynamic mirroring. I'm gonna back out for just a second, just so I can show you how the setup for that goes. So I'm going to back out and I am going to actually, I'm going to add into the quick zap tray neurotransmitters and from the brain EEG, I'm going to add the theta. The theta kind of helps like put you in a meditative state, so it's good when working with emotions. And now we can go to the dynamic mirroring. So we're going to have to go to the back office. And when you work with this, you're going to have to kind of have in your like pre-thought out that you want to work with it. It kind of takes you out of flow a little bit. I tend to just work with the quick zap and main whole trays separately. I don't work a lot with dynamic mirroring, to be quite honest. It doesn't mean that it's not a great feature. It's just it's a little bit out of flow for me. But you're going to want to have items in both your quick zap and in your main hold tray. And then the way this works is you're also going to want to adjust the timers. So for the quick zap, maybe you want to put the timer on 1 minute. And well, we can do it from the progressive insights, but you could, I'm just going to put this on 2 minutes because we won't have that much time here. And then can close that. And now we go into the back office by hitting the 3 navigation bars, and you can go into extra modules. And now it says dynamic mirroring phase. So we can select that. And I'm going to put the timer here on 3 minutes. And enter what emotion you would like to focus on. So what emotion would you like to focus on?
Love.
Love. Okay. And now we're going to begin balancing, and it's going to go through both the quick zap tray and what's in the main hold tray. Doing okay? Okay, so the average percent rectification was 63%. That's great. And it went from about 55 to 72. So again, I'm happy with that. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Did the levels come down, or is it still, are they still elevated?
I think it's come down.
Okay, great. So let's go look at you are going to feel tired though. You're not that fatigue. In my experience, especially working with brain areas, it is going to make you feel more tired, but hopefully you should sleep like a rock star tonight. You can let me know tomorrow.
Oh,
And hopefully that will help with the fatigue. But I find very frequently, especially when you work with the brain, that it's using a lot of mental energy. So it is really normal for you to probably feel a little wiped out about this point. So let's just go look at your aura. Okay, and wow, that looks so much better. Want to work a little bit on the center in here, but it really brightened up. And if we switch to the old, that's even looking much better. So good job. So hopefully that has helped and you will feel better. Please let me know tomorrow how you were feeling, or even later today if you feel that that emotional anxiety has come down a bit. Does anybody have any questions? Barbara, I know it was you that asked me about the dynamic mirroring, right? Did you find that helpful? In seeing that? Are you still here? I don't know if you're still here. So, I don't know, Barbara, can you hear me? Maybe you fell asleep. Did you fall asleep? Are you so relaxed?
I don't see Barbara, I'm afraid.
No, I see her here. She's
Really?
right. Yeah, she's fourth down at least on mine. She's here.
Oh, yes, she is. Apologies, Barbara.
Well, Barbara, anyway, you can let me know later if that was helpful, but anybody else have any questions on using the dynamic mirroring?
Denise,
Yes.
I answered in the chat, but yes, it was helpful.
Oh,
What
good.
I did, what I didn't do was have the quick sap filled first. I filled it later, and so I didn't get all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I don't use it probably as often, is because I'm already in the main whole tray when I'm working, if I've ever thought about it. And then you've got to go, it kind of, you really have to think about how you want to use it, because you usually want the main whole tray to run longer than the quick sap tray.
Okay.
So that's why I put the quick zap on 1 minute and the main hold tray on 2 minutes. So, but anyway, so I hope that helped. Let me know, Barbara, if you use it, how you like working with it, or come back next Thursday and let us know how you liked working with it. Always love hearing from everybody. I apologize, we did go over, and thank you for staying with us the extra time. Does anybody have any questions again before we leave for today? Karen is saying she loves using both. Bottom general therapy, quick is condition specific. I'm not following what you're saying, Karen, exactly.
Bottom tray is general therapy and quick zap is condition specific.
Oh, I see. So you put more, so you kind of worked opposite of how I worked it. Is that right, Karen?
Yeah, actually, that's right. So that's normally what I do is I put, let's say it's like going for general and doing like a general check and doing a general session at the bottom. But what will happen, let's say if someone comes to me for cataract specific or what they think it is, we'll put it anyway. Then that way I target those things right up top. So
Okay.
it kind of keeps it, I'm looking for the issue, the roots and the causes in a nice general session. But if I need to drill down on something specific for 10, 15 minutes, like shoulder pain, I'll open up all those acupuncture meridians and put it there. So it's just a different way to do it. You can do it either way. I mean, you can put as many as you want in both of them, right? So
Well, that's the beauty of the genius, right? Is that there's really no set way. Everybody comes up with their own ways of using it. Again, I've worked with the quick zap in a similar type way. I just don't do it where it's running at the same time. If I'm working in the main hold tray and there are a lot of frequencies, but I still want to work with them, I might find that I'll go put some of those, crystals in the quick zap
sure.
for a few seconds and then go back to the main hold tray. It's kind of all pretty much the same thing, but
I think that's a great idea because that's another way too, is just like to do that specific session and then end up with the crystals or end up with like I taught crystal therapy and stuff like last week on the quantum chit chat, but or the oils or whatever it's like a feel good session to end it, right? It's like a massage. Well, that's the last little icing on the cake.
right.
So that's the way is to go back and forth and even have a third one,
So
Anyway,
yeah.
great session. Great session.
Thank you. All right. Well, again, it was great seeing everybody, and I will be seeing you next week. I will be seeing you not from cold, cloudy Connecticut, but hopefully sunny Florida next Thursday. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you all then. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.